great things about AI is that you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. The bad thing is it requires batteries to charge them. So I'm gonna have to wing it because my classes aren't charged. So again, Dan Fulvio, Hero Managed Services, AI consultancy. Just quick show of hands. Who here uses AI today in their business? All right. Technically you all do because Siri and all these other apps all use AI. A lot of your vendors are also using AI as well. So one of the things I want to try to cover a little bit is what I do as a consultant that might be not clearly understood. So I don't have a specific product I sell you. I don't have a tool or a software that I say use this or use that. I look at what your business does, the tools that are out there, and we try to customize things. Everyone can go to ChatGPT and type in stuff. Give me a good weekly commercial. Give me a social media post. Here's a funny picture, put me in it. Those are easy things to do, but it takes your time. What I focus in on is automating that process. So instead of you having to go say, give me a weekly commercial, the system will automatically do this. We do this today for a lot of different things in our business, and we do it for customers as well. I tend to get, with the 22 businesses I have, a lot of people asking repetitive information. I don't have my bill, how do I make a payment? Other questions like that is completely automated from us. So when someone sends us an email, instead of having to go and pull that email out and put it in AI and say, AI, give me a good response to this, send this out, the AI sits and waits, and it checks that inbox every 60 seconds. And the first thing it does is everything that comes in, it sorts it. What is this email? What is the intent of this person sending this message? How do I handle this? So the first part is it sorts it all out, which obviously saves us time. So if someone's asking for an invoice, I don't have to have a person read that, figure out what has to happen. The second part of it is it looks at the intent. This person wants an invoice. So we customize the AI using automation to now go and get the invoice and send it back to them. So my AR clerks don't have to do anything. They have to just cash checks and run credit cards. And even that we can automate. So that's kind of what I do that's a little different is it's the automation portion of it. Everyone can use AI. AI is a very inexpensive tool. The automations where it becomes tricky because automations are charged by tokens. Tokens are basically how many words are in something that you want to do. So it can be relatively inexpensive to very expensive. We have people that do large outreach campaigns, which has become a little bit more gray area because someone who decided to clone Joe Biden's voice and do a bunch of political stuff has made it a little harder to do outbound reach, cold calling kind of stuff. There are still ways to do it that do comply with the laws, but it's a gray area. While the FCC does focus on people that are doing stuff that are deceptive, we have to be careful and stuff like that. So, what I want to know is more kind of what David did the other day is more questions and answers. Like, what are you guys doing with your business that you think may be automatable? And I just want to kind of go through the room and kind of hear some questions from people. Anybody?
At the bank, we have our own internal AI, and then the external AIs, they're like, we can't use Chat GPT, and we can't use the one through Edge, but there's others that we can use. Why, are some safer than others? Why would that be?
It's mostly a corporate policy for compliance. Platforms like ChatGPT, there is an open element to it, so information you give it is going to a system that's outside of a regulatory control. And if you use free accounts, if you read the disclaimers, they use this data to train the model. So the information you gave it could be indexable and available for other people to look at. When you're in paid subscriptions, though, most of that is closed off in more of the popular platforms, Cloud, Gemini, ChatGPT. Most people can kind of get around it using Copilot because Copilot is part of Microsoft's environment. So most compliancy officers can't turn off access to Microsoft 365. So you always have some built-in element of it, but it could just be compliancy. I've seen companies block specifically people to be able to go to those different sites for that purpose. Now it does obviously help them do their job better because they'd be able to be more efficient and faster at doing things that AI are good at doing, like coding or reading emails and kind of be able to do quick summaries. Even in the legal profession, there's a lot of landmark cases before the appellates for bar complaints because people used AI, they didn't fact check stuff, and AI made a great argument, but the cases were from movies. They were real cases. The attorney didn't see that, and they didn't get disbarred, but they got strictly reprimanded and admonished, and then it changed the rules. Now, the state of Florida, for example, any attorney that crafts anything with AI, they actually have to include an AI disclaimer in their pleading that this was generated with the assistance of AI. Now, there are some exceptions to that. You know, LexisNexis is a great AI tool that's specific for attorneys. That's why it's mostly restricted, is for compliance, because that data is going to get out there. Especially if you look at Gronk, the Musk one, that's actually fully indexed. So whenever you put something there, that actual search result can show up in Google if it's indexed by them, because it's not closed off. Whereas other ones you have to share it to kind of be able to do, you know, indexing through Google.
Thank you.
I'm sure everybody in here has their own software platforms to help them with business and all. I have a very robust one. Can that be integrated in those?
Yeah, pretty much every CRM or ERP system is going to have some API or webhook. So there's ways to get the data out of it. And even for closed off systems, because AI can do anything you can develop, we actually have AI models that literally will use a web browser and go to a site and go through it like a person to collect the data off of it to then use that to do AI functions. It takes a little bit more time to code that, because we talk about Python scripting plus other automation tools and using AI kind of as a think engine behind it. But yeah, most commercial systems will have the ability to take the data out of it to use it. So, yeah.
I looked up in the past month, there are 400 expired listings. Is there a way to use AI to reach out to those 400 people so I don't have to pick up the phone 400? How would that work?
So commercial calling that's where the gray area is, because the Consumer Protection Act for phone calling, it technically does not say AI or systems that are dynamically generating content. Because of that case that happened late last year, the federal government has said that they consider AI generated voices artificial, and that meets the definition of robocalling, even though it's dynamic. So for that, it'd have to be a double opt-in system where it could identify it and then trigger a postcard, letter, other types of means of sending out. They respond to that, hit a landing page. Once there's an opt-in, you can then do automated calls out. But at least it could identify it, add it to a CRM, do some sort of actions behind that. But a human voice would have to call it to be completely compliant. Now, like I said, the FCC's public statement is their focus is still on things that are deceptive and fraudulent. So they may not come after someone doing a small amount of calls, but there's always a liability for it. It's a gray area.
Like, I personally keep getting calls, like it'll be a person, hey, this is so-and-so, how are you? Okay, good, give me 1 second, I'll put you with someone. And then they comply with a human.
Yeah. Well, that's still a legal call. So anything that's pre-recorded that's not interactive is a robocall, and that's already illegal.
No, it's a person, it's an actual like, hey.
It's
so
probably
something-
not a person. That's the point. That's my time. So one-to-ones, I love to just